Ho, ho, ho! It's Christine here, and I'm from Santa's workshop at the North Pole. Today, I'm going to lead you in a quick step-by-step drawing demonstration of sketching this realistic reindeer. So if you'd like to follow along, gather your pencils and download your high-resolution image from the link below. So, let's get started. Okay, we're going to be drawing this female cow reindeer, and we're going to start with her head. So let's start with the forehead area. And very lightly and gently go down towards her muzzle, measuring the length of her head. And down around her nostrils, and her muzzle, and her mouth, and then her chin. Staying very light. Getting her little muzzle here now. Then the eye. She's got a nice big bright eye. So now we're happy with the outline. We're going to get her ear, which is behind and above her eye and sticks out above her neck. They need to have big ears to be able to listen for those predators like wolves and grizzly bears. Making some corrections if needed. Checking the shapes. A little bit more definition on the eye and the forehead and the ears, just firming up those lines. Then we're going to do her antlers. Females keep their antlers throughout the winter time to help protect their calves and to help dig for lichens in the snow. So you can see both her left antler that is closest to us and the right antler that is farther away. And while you're drawing, try to notice those nice negative shapes of the blue sky, and that will help you to draw it. But since every reindeer has very unique shape to their antlers, you don't have to make it exact. She does have several prongs on those antlers, and the ends of the antlers are also forked again into little prongs. And I'm using my left hand with a blue pencil to try to keep track of where I am. I'm doing the left antler first. Again, trying to notice where those blue negative shapes are that will help you to draw the positive shape of the antler. So now we're going to do the far antler, her right antler. Just following along as best you can, noticing those negative blue shapes. The female will lose her antlers in the spring and grow new ones again next fall. Now I'm just shading a little bit those right antlers to make them look a little bit farther away from us. Then the left antler is closer to us, so let's firm up that line, and so we make it a little bit more obvious. With that darker line, making those antlers look closer to us. Great. Now let's start working a bit more on it, finishing up, emphasizing that left antler that's closer to us. All right. Let's finish up with that shape of the head before we go on to the rest of the body. Shading that eye a bit, but leaving a white spot for a highlight to make her look alive. Now let's start with the neck. She's got a really big fluffy neck. So lots of fur, especially lots of loose fur along the bottom edge of her neck. So we're going to do that very softly to make it look like it's that nice soft fur. Down to her chest where her front legs start. And then her back is a little bit straighter with the fur a little bit shorter. She's got the withers there, just like a horse has. That's the shoulder area. Double checking my proportions from the nostrils to the withers. Giving a little bit more definition to that neck. See, there's a difference between the actual physical neck and then the fluffy fur that I'm drawing right now. Then let's get that shoulder area. Very subtle shadow on the shoulder, and then the back of the withers. It's where the front legs start. So measuring the whole height of her, and then noticing the height of the legs in comparison. The legs are a little bit longer than the body is deep. And we see her left leg. We're going to firm that up first. See, she's got the elbow right there, and then the knees. Double checking the proportions from the muzzle to the elbow. And then the right leg, which is partially behind the cow's left leg. So we want to emphasize that leg. We've got the kind of upper arm, if you want to call it that, to start with, and the elbow, and then the joint there that bends, and then sort of the wrist, and she's got some claws. One claw or hoof goes back, and two go forward. Real fluffy fur around those to keep her legs warm. Then her right leg is behind and a bit shorter than the left leg. toe sticks out a little bit more in front. Noticing you can see a little bit of snow between the right and left front legs. Now we're going to get the body very straight back, all the way back from the withers to the hips. I'm going to measure to help me make an accurate size of the back. The backbone is what's supporting the ribs, and then the hips, and then the short white tail. And you've got the hip there, very subtle angle there where the hip starts, and the rump and the white tail. She's got lifted up a little bit hard to see against the light blue sky and the snow. Then her belly, so coming down from the neck to the chest, the belly continues on. So measuring how deep it is. And it's pretty much of a straight line. She's not too fat. She already gave birth to her baby, so she's a little bit skinnier than she was a few days ago. Finishing up that hip bone there. It's very subtle, but you see a shadow there. And coming down to the knee. And then the back of the rump and the knee coming down to the ankle. Unlike us, their ankle isn't on the ground, it's up halfway up their leg there. And then she's pushing away with that back left leg. So it's behind, a little bit behind the tail, farther to the right. She's kind of pushing, walking slowly. So try to indicate that with the angle of the foot there that's pushing the snow. I'm trying to correct it a little bit. I was getting that down there. Fluffy rump there, and the ankle, and then we've got the front part of the back leg, the knee, which is kind of hidden above the belly fur, and then the angle where the black hooves are visible. Black dew claw, I believe it's called. Now we want to get her back right foot, which is planted firmly on the ground. Notice that little triangular negative shape there between the two legs. And coming towards you, angled. And firming that up a bit. Her little hooves are mostly hidden in the snow there. You see a little bit black hoof there. So now I'm going to get a little bit more detail in that fuzzy belly, and that white fur there gets even fuzzier right under where her teats are. So now we've got an outline. We're going to start shading. So we're going to shade both the color. We see the muzzle is the very darkest. We've got a very dark muzzle and then sort of a tan face. changed pencils here, but whatever shading pencil you have, it's going to allow you to get a little darker to indicate that we have a dark, rich brown muzzle. And then I have a little blender. You may or may not have that. You could also use your finger or Q-tip, but the blender is just blending those pencil strokes to make them look more soft, because her fur is very soft and short, especially on her muzzle and her face. On her eye, I was showing the upper and lower eyelids, trying to make her look quite alive and awake and happy. Eyes are the windows to the soul, so you want to make sure to spend plenty of time there, to make them look realistic. Now you can see I'm using the side of my pencil to get a little bit more graphite on there more quickly. So most of her face is going to be a little bit lighter than the muzzle, but darker than the neck. The neck is the whitest area, so we're going to have the least shadowing there. Very lightly. And then on her chest, her fur gets a bit darker again. Just as you're drawing, referring back and forth to your image of the cow reindeer. Her back and her rump are also darker than her sides or her belly. There's a little shadowing behind her elbow. And some shadowing kind of in front of her knee, making sure you leave some white fuzzy fur between her back legs, shadowing her hip a bit, and then the rump, noticing where the lights and darks are. And then her right rear leg is in shadow, except for that little oval that I drew. It's a little bit lighter fur there. And you see where the shadow is cast on her leg, and the upper part is much darker than the lower part. So now I've got a little bit of graphite everywhere, so I'm going to go back to the front again and start to blend those values to make them more smooth and realistic. Blending, blending, blending. The while referring to your image. Now we're going to go back and continue to darken that fur up. The fur needs to be darkened a lot more than I have it here, so just again looking back and forth and modifying what you have already. Noticing where the sun is coming from. I'm doing a little bit of erasing, so you see I go back and forth a bit. I was bringing out a little bit of highlights there on the elbow and the shading behind the elbow. And then adding more darker fur on the back. Really darkening up that back left leg, making sure to leave some nice white fur on her belly between her back legs. And again, blending some more. This is an iterative process, as we call it, kind of going back and forth between blending and darkening and just continuing to see if we've got our values and our shapes correct. Now I'm taking my fine pointed mechanical pencil, any pencil you have that's really nice and sharp, so that we can indicate the fuzziness of her fur, especially her neck, that dewlap area. It's quite large in the males. We're just trying to soften the outline a bit where her fur is fuzziest. Getting some finer details of texture of the fur. And on her belly, and that fuzzy white fur between her back legs. So just continuing to work, trying to get the texture of the fur. And the fur on her rump is longer. Firming up the lines on her closer back leg. And then the right back leg. Noticing that shadow again. So the sun looks like it's sort of setting. This might be afternoon. And it's coming from the upper right. And it's casting a kind of purplish shadow. Now, if you want to add that little calf later on, you might want to wait to put this shadow in. But if you're not going to add her calf, you can just add the whole shadow now. Drawing the calf can be your homework. Getting some more details, some of our final details, especially on the face here. Now those antlers, and trying to visually separate the closer left antlers from her more distant right antlers. Now getting some more fuzziness to her neck. And pushing harder to try to really put some areas in shadow, like her front right leg. Of her back, her neck, her withers, her belly, indicating the texture of the fur, her hip, putting that back rear leg into shadow, especially the upper part. Okay, so we're getting towards the end, so just cleaning up the background, because it might have gotten a little bit smeared from your hand. Double checking everything. Of course, you can spend as much more time as you want on this, but this is a good start. Last thing I'll do is just continue to add a little bit more fuzziness to her neck with my fine pointed mechanical pencil. Okay, then you might want to add some details and some snowy forest background. And if you wanted to make your reindeer look more Christmassy, you could always add a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer dot to her nose, because Rudolph was actually a female, because it's only the females that keep their antlers all winter. So Santa's reindeers were, surprise, females. So, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed drawing this reindeer, and you'll keep working on her as homework. So take care and see you later. Happy holidays. Bye-bye.